Nisha. So I've asked you if you wanted to see my foundation routine, and most of you said yes you would. So today I'm going to show you what I do. Let me first tell you that I have I would say I have normal skin that sometimes can get dehydrated, and I do get oily T-zone, usually in the winter, because I think in the winter we use the central heating and we over dry our skin, and our skin compensates by producing more oil. That's just my opinion. Okay, now I am full coverage kind of girl. I don't like the way my skin looks. I don't have any problems with my skin. I think the quality of my skin is fine. It's just the complexion. It's very uneven. I have sun damage, I have freckles, I have redness on my nose, redness on my chin, you know, a bit of a darkness under my eyes, and I like to have a lovely flawless canvas, and that's just me. So for some of you that might be too much, but that's how I do it. So please don't tell me in comments, you know, how much stuff I'm using, because so what, that's what I do and that's what I like. You don't have to do it that way. To me, base is the most important. I could just do mascara, but if I have no foundation on, that is like the worst thing for me. So I probably spend the most time on doing my base, my foundation. Anyway, this is how I do it. Okay, so as you can see, my skin is in a good condition, I would say. I just really don't like the way it looks. It's very patchy, I've got red nose, red chin, I have sun damage, have really bad sun damage actually on the side of my neck. So that's why I like to cover it all. I've done my eyebrows because without them you can't see my face, it just disappears. So let me put my little headband. This headband I bought on eBay years ago from China, I think. So let's start with the skincare. What I always use in the morning is the Skin Deva 20% vitamin C, E and ferulic acid serum. I take about half of the pipette in the palm of my hand. I rub it together and apply it to my face and down my neck. So I will wait for it now to sink in. Now I have small fine lines, I have wrinkles, expression lines on my forehead. I haven't had Botox for 9 months now. I don't think if I'm going to have Botox again. I probably have fillers again. I think I need to top up my fillers under my eyes. That's been 9 months as well. I was so happy with it, so I probably will do the fillers. Okay, I'm going to put eye cream now, and I've been using for years now the Tranquillity Banish Puffy Eye cream. If you've been with me for a long time, you will know that this cream did really help me with my puffiness and eye bags. You know, there is nothing really that will get rid of them unless you have a surgery or fillers. So, but this cream did help me, so I'm still using it, and I use that one in the mornings. So I gently pat it in, and for my day cream I use all sorts. It's usually, especially in the summer, it's usually some sort of a sunscreen, and in the winter I love to use my is it Murad Hydro Skin, I think, but I have this one which is Murad Perfecting Day Cream with SPF 30. So I will use about that much. Must be careful not to get rid of my eyebrows. I always bring everything down my neck. So I will wait for this to sink in for a bit, a minute or so. Okay, and now I'm going to use primer. You know I'm not into primers, but do you remember when I did this video testing few primers? I really like the Becca Backlight priming filter. And you see I've got just that much left. I just noticed that my foundation applied really nice over this primer, so I've been using it. So I take 1 pump of it. I don't have big pores. I've got a couple of huge craters in my chin, but nothing will fill it. But I don't really have big pores, so obviously you need to use primer for your skin. Now for my foundation, my favorite for months now, and if you've watched my full face favorites, probably the latest one, you would have seen it, is the Shiseido synchro-skin. I have so many foundations and I like a lot of them, but this one has been really good to me, so I have been using that all the time. Right now I'm mixing golden 3 with golden 4 because I still have a bit of tan. In the winter I'll probably just do the 3. So I take the 3 first, shake it, and I use 1 pump, which is not much, and it is a very runny, and I just spread it like that all over my face, just dot it everywhere, and I probably use just half a pump of the golden 4. Shake it because it's very watery. Just half a pump and try to dot it as well all over my face. Now when I first got this foundation, I tried it with the beauty blender, I tried it with my hands, and then I tried it with my brush, which is the Artis Oval 7. I mean, it doesn't have to be this one, any of those brushes, they do so many of these now. I found that this worked the best for me, and I don't press very hard, I sort of glide over it and I just apply it to my face. It is medium, I would say, coverage foundation, and it is not very thick, it's quite watery, so it doesn't look very cakey. I don't go very close to under my eyes because I will use concealer, and I feel if you use foundation under your eyes and concealer, then it might be too cakey. I have to be careful because I've got my brows on. Okay, now for concealer, I still use Tarte Shape tape in light medium. Now of course you don't have to use the same concealer. I know people that love this foundation, this concealer, and I know people that hate it. I really like it, and if you're gonna use it with your fingers, use tiny bit, but if you use it with a sponge like I do, I can take a bit more because obviously the sponge is wet and you will absorb a bit of the product. So I use quite a lot of it because I haven't used foundation, and I always use my concealer on my nose because, you know, nose repels foundation, so concealer is a must. I take the little beauty blender and I start blending from the bottom, so most of the product goes not right under your eye but about here, and with whatever you've got left you go under your eye, and I also put it all over my lid. So this acts as my eyeshadow primer. I don't use really eyeshadow primers. And do my nose. Now I'm going to set my concealer with Laura Mercier Translucent powder. I use this one or I use the Kat Von D Translucent powder. I like them both. I'm going to use the Wayne Goss 0 to brush, and I pick it up, but I really tap it off. So, and again, when I start applying my powder, I do most of it lower and whatever is left under my eyes, so I don't put too much powder. It's very fine powder. I don't feel my concealer doesn't crease. And also why I use this one, because I want my under eyes to be a bit brighter. So, you know, people ask me how I stop the concealer creasing. That's how I do it. And of course, when you smile, you see the lines. There is nothing I can do about it. You know, I'm not 20 anymore. Okay, so, and now what I do is set the rest of it, and this is where it's different. Now, because I still have some color and I want color, I use the Laura Mercier Mineral powder in Rich Vanilla, or sometimes in Classic Beige. Classic Beige is a bit darker, so I'm using Rich Vanilla. But in the winter, and if you've been with me for a while, you remember I bought the Becca Soft Light Blurring powder. And this, with this foundation, gave the most beautiful finish. And you've always said, you know, how lovely my skin looked. It was this, but to me this is quite light. It's not, you know, it's quite peachy actually. So if you are very, very pale, even that might be too dark for you, but I really love it. But right now I'm using the Laura Mercier. And a lot of people say, oh my god, so many powders, so many things. But if you notice, I layer all these things in small amounts. I don't put very high coverage foundation and then loads of it, and then don't put loads of powder on it and another powder. Mineral powders to me are the best because they are not as chalky and they give you a bit of glow. And I use tiny bit, and what does this sets my makeup, adds tiny bit more coverage, and it gives the skin a bit of luminosity. It's not just like really matte and flat. So I put it in a what is this? This is Bare Minerals Full Flawless Face brush. I tap it off, and I don't go under my eye because obviously I want it to be lighter, and I've already put powder under my eye, well, both eyes. And I go down my neck as well. So that gives me a bit more coverage, a bit more color, and sets my makeup, and it doesn't make you, you know, really powdery and flat. If you feel that you are a bit powdery after all this, what I do, I spray my face after I've done my base. When I've used all this, I spray my face with Fix Plus and blow dry it, so it sort of melts all these powders together and it doesn't look so powdery. But I don't do it that often because after an hour or so, when a bit of my natural oils come through, it doesn't look powdery. I look a bit more luminous. Now bronzer. I have lots of bronzers that I love, but this I've been using non-stop, and this is the Senna. And it has very long name because there are two different types, so you have to get the right one. This is the Mineral Mix Advanced Mineral Makeup Pressed Cover and Finish Foundation, and this one is in dark. So this is basically like a pressed mineral foundation, but I use it as a bronzer. It's a powder. As you can see, I'm almost out of it, so I'm just like scraping things from the sides. So this is not a bronzer, this is mineral pressed foundation, in dark, but I love this color, and again, because it's mineral, it doesn't give that really powdery look. It's a bit more luminous. I use this brush, and this is Jessup large powder brush. I think I got it on eBay. I'm not that particular about my face brushes. I do like my oval brush for foundation, but the rest is just whatever. And I don't contour as such, but I use the bronzer on perimeters of my face to just give it a bit more dimension. So I will use it like under my cheek, on my forehead, because you know, if you do it just with one color, you look a bit flat, whereas this will give you some sort of light and shade. And I always go down my neck. Don't ever forget it, because you don't want this definite line. And that's it for bronzer. Now I will use whatever highlighter I'm using, and you know, at the moment I've been really loving the Benefit Dandelion Twinkle, which is very subtle, and I always use the Morphe M504 brush, which I think is eye brush, but it's huge, so I use it for my, and I put it right on the top of here and a bit in my temple. I sometimes bring it like right here on a I have to make that silly face on the top of my cheek, so when you're smiling or moving you can see it. And then for my blush, what I've been lately using is the Hourglass Mood Exposure. Sorry, it's very hard with that ring light. It is a mauvey, very pigmented, so be careful. It looks quite light, but don't be fooled. I don't know what that brush is. It's a it's a blush brush. I think it might be from Crown, but it's got no name on it. And I just lightly I never know how to apply blush properly. This is my biggest no-no, because people say, smile, apply here, but you know, my face is drooping. If I smile, apply here, and I stop smiling, my blush will be on my jawline. So I go quite high, sort of in between the bronzer and the highlighter. And this is how I do my base. So let me just finish my makeup and I come back. So I just finished my makeup. I've used the Urban Decay Naked Heat Palette, and on my lips I have Marc Jacobs lipstick in Slow Burn. So that is my flawless foundation routine. That's what I do, and like I said, that's probably not for everyone, but you wanted to see my routine, so that was it. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you soon. Stay fabulous. Bye.